Hello everybody, welcome to Your Capital What's Up. I'm Chuck Wiger, your area state senator. Thank you very much for watching. Today I'm very pleased to have Kristine Wehrkamp joining us. She's the Community Education Director for the White Bear Lake Area Schools. Thank you for joining us, Kristine.
Thank you for having me.
So, community education, it affects our youngest learners, it programs with parents, it goes all the way for programs for senior citizens. It's lifelong learning. Tell us what community education is and then relate it to the White Bear Lake area schools. And I know you could talk for a long time, but just the overview of what is community ed.
Community education is all about lifelong learning. It's an opportunity for our schools to reach out to families and offer different programs and educational opportunities for all ages. We do actually serve birth to 5-year-olds, including our preschool.
Yes.
Early childhood family education, helping those new parents kind of navigate that world, along with adult enrichment classes, as you stated, senior citizen programming. The other thing that's interesting about White Bear Lake area schools, however, is we also offer all the recreation programming. So for youth and adults, we provide the recreation services rather than the municipalities.
Yes.
So it's a far-reaching
Great partnership there
Great
because
partnership.
rather than having two separate programs, be more efficient.
Right, and so they actually have some of the field space, they own that, but we program it, and so that's exactly what it is. It's an innovative partnership.
Wonderful. Now, community ed has its roots in part from Minnesota through legislative action dating back in the early 70s, I believe, and where there was discussion about opening up the schools, beyond the traditional day and the traditional school year so that more of the community could be involved, the lifelong learning. And it started, I was an intern for former Senator Jerry Hughes. He was the chairman of the Education Committee. He had looked at a model in Michigan, the little red schoolhouse, saying, let's get more use. And that's how it started at the legislature, because I remember that. And then it was up to the districts. They didn't have to, but they could start a program. A small amount of resources would be available. And that's how it started. So what got you involved in community ed?
Well, I actually have a business degree, so my actual original career started in business, and I was in the credit card industry for many years. And I knew at that point that I needed to volunteer, I needed to give back to the community in some way. And so I started by tutoring a Somali woman in English down in Eden Prairie. And I loved it. We went over reading and math and speaking and listening. And so I checked into the University of Minnesota and found out that I could get a teaching degree along with a master's in adult education.
Yes.
So I went that route and eventually moved right into education and taught at the Ronald M. Hub Center, which is St. Paul Public Schools Adult Basic Education Program.
Yes.
Had an opportunity to teach English to adults along with college prep classes to American-born learners, those folks trying to get GEDs, so did some GED preparation. So that's kind of how I got into community education, because adult basic education falls under the purview of community education.
Yes.
And so from there I moved into administration and then accepted the position of director for White Bear Lake area schools, which I really enjoy because I now get to be a part of all of the programming, from our little preschoolers to our school age care for our before and after school programming that we offer, along with middle school sports we oversee. So I get an opportunity to be involved in a lot of different programming options.
Lots of committees, different partners that you're going to have in that role.
Yes, yes. We partner, like we had stated earlier, with our municipalities. We work very closely with other organizations around transportation for our seniors. In fact, we started a community forum, which is bringing in lots of stakeholders into a meeting forum type where we're actually looking at how do we program to seniors in a way, how can we in a way that better aligns what we do, so we're not siloed, but actually working collaboratively.
And in terms of the early learning examples, I had the honor of being at a ceremony at the Tamarack Center. Tell us about that partnership with the county, the school district, and potentially others on creating a wonderful experience for young people and their parents?
Yeah, My Nature Preschool. It's an actual gem of what we get to offer being in White Bear Lake area schools. We partner with Ramsey County. They run the Tamarack Nature Center.
Yes.
And we actually have this incredible model of a naturalist co-teaching with our licensed teachers.
Yes.
We actually offer family education classes there along with our preschool classes, and they're both co-taught.
Yes.
And this is an opportunity where our kids are getting a preschool experience that's nature is embedded. And so they're outside every single day. They're learning all sorts of different things about nature along with
Yes.
animals and trees. And it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to work together to provide an experience that kids may not get.
The response has been overwhelming.
Overwhelming. We were lucky enough that Tamarack was able to secure some funding to actually build 2 more early childhood classrooms.
Yes.
And we thought this past fall that we would just start with 1 because we didn't know if we would have enough participants for the second class. And we started to get a wait list, so we thought, well, we'll try it, we'll open it up. We have a wait list for both. So
Yes.
it filled in a week. And
Yes.
it's been a wonderful partnership, and our kids are really getting a great experience.
Okay. And there's hundreds of young people in the district, and we refer to White Bear Lake, but that actually that's the name of the school district, White Bear Lake area, but you have several communities that you
Yes.
serve.
10 municipalities, some of which Hugo, City of Hugo, Vadnais Heights, White Bear Township, Gem Lake, parts of other little communities that are Birchwood,
Yeah.
et cetera. So,
And not many people know it actually even includes a sliver of Maplewood.
yeah, a little bit.
Over by Best Buy on that corridor. These were boundaries before the freeway
Yeah.
on agricultural plots, but
And we're in 3 counties: Washington
Yes.
County, Ramsey County, and Anoka County. So it's also a different kind of an arrangement falling into 3 different counties, especially when we think about election times.
yes. Early education, you mentioned the importance of that. And one thing that I was really impressed on was the superintendent and yourself, others, showing how you reach out to families. And for a newborn at St. John's, what do you do
Yeah.
at St. John's Hospital?
Yes, well, we do. We send in our parent educators right into St. John's hospitals, and we talk to the families and offer them, show them opportunities to actually come into our schools and participate in our programs right from their first day. We also work with other school districts in that partnership as well. So North St. Paul, Maplewood, Oakdale sends people in, and it's a really good opportunities for families to feel welcome
Yes.
and to learn about our resources. Another thing our superintendent does for us, which I think is wonderful, is we send out onesies to all of
Yes.
our new White Bear families, all of our all 10 municipalities. So new babies that are born get a onesie that has a bear paw on it, and little go bears, and of course orange. And it's another nice way to welcome. He sends them a personal note,
Yes.
welcoming them and excited about when they're ready to enroll in our programs.
Yes. And as I recall, there's activity kits, a lot of things that are available for parents that they might be able to check out depending on the program, just to help them learn more about what the student is going through for the developmental, because, for example, by age 2 has been the maximum amount of brain power development is occurring with all the impact on vocabulary, et cetera. And the whole thrust at the state level has been to pay more attention to the importance of that early development. And there's ways parents can help. And
Yes, and we want to give them as many resources as possible so that they can prepare their children for when they're ready to actually start kindergarten. And so those
Yeah.
are, as you had mentioned, some options that we have.
Yeah.
We do send some folks in to do home visits for those 0 to 2-year-olds,
Yes.
especially those with special needs. The other thing we really encourage is if the parents think would be beneficial is to have those 3-year-olds start in our preschool. They don't have to wait until 4.
Yeah.
And we have different opportunities for preschool. We're at 4 different sites. And so it's an opportunity that if parents would like to participate, even with their 3-year-olds, in more of a formalized setting, they can.
Great. And I know you've got a vision. There's so much growth that's occurring. Plans, discussion about a potential White Bear Achievement Center. Like to tell us a little bit about that, and it's a work in progress, but what's the vision that you'd like to see for the White Bear Lake area as potentially, as well as for other areas, for delivering services more efficiently
Yeah.
for families, for the taxpayers?
Yes, the Achievement Center is an incredible opportunity. If this vision comes to fruition, I believe that the Northeast Metro will benefit from this Achievement Center. What it is basically an opportunity for different resources to come together in one location so that families can access services that they already access, but in an easier method. So for example, we would have early childhood and family education classes along with preschool classes, but we would also have Ramsey County services in that same location, along with access to medical and dental services as well as mental health services. Currently, if our families need to access Ramsey County services, they need to go to downtown St. Paul. If they don't have their own transportation, it's 2 bus transfers and it can take up over an hour of their time just to get there. Whereas if we can bring Ramsey County services to them right there at the Achievement Center, they wouldn't have to worry about how they can access transportation to get down to downtown St. Paul. So it actually fills a gap for the Northeast Metro. It wouldn't just be our students that could benefit, but it would be families that would benefit North St. Paul, Mounds View, Shoreview, all around our area could actually have better access to the services they're already getting.
Right.
And it goes beyond, the vision is it goes beyond co-locating to actually co-programming, where we're working together with a common mission to serve families, to streamline what we already do, so that it's not only accessible, but it's actually an innovative way of reaching families so that they can get to their own potential. And including with that would be adult-based education classes in that same place. So adults are getting what they need to get jobs.
Well, it's a great vision. It's embraced by your school board, and the leaders are really excited about it. And again, I guess it's a matter of when it will happen. So we'll stay tuned on that. And you work with the school board, but there's also advisory committees, et cetera, that you have, whether it's in youth programs, the municipal, or other aspects. Tell us about advisory input that you get.
Yeah, so our Community Education Advisory Council has many leaders across our municipality. From we have city, municipality employees staffed there participating on our council, along with the executive director for the YMCA is actually chairing our council right now.
Good.
We have the executive director of New Tracks, which provides transportation for adults with disabilities. We have the executive director for the Vadnais Heights Economic Development Corporation. We have school board members that participate, and this advisory council really it's imperative to what we do as a department for the school district, because bringing in these different stakeholders, we get ideas about better ways we can continue to serve others and ways to collaborate with other stakeholders that maybe we didn't think of on our own. So it brings in really good minds, good thinkers to actually help us with the visioning process to actually serve more families in a better way.
Great. You mentioned the services vision for seniors, the fastest growing part of the demographics. Tell us where you see that going over the next several years, whether it's in White Bear area or others.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. You're right. It is the fastest growing population. Right now in White Bear, in 2020, the senior citizen population will actually be larger than our youth for the first time ever. But we've actually reached that already in White Bear. And so
right, for the state, 2020, but it's already there in White Bear.
Already there. So it's really important, I think, that with this
Not complaining about that, I don't, but it is what it is.
It's a new place. We've not been here before as a nation, so this is the first time. And so I think with what we're hoping is to bring the community together to find out, first of all, what are the individual stakeholders currently providing, and where are the gaps, and what can we do to actually collaboratively serve the seniors in a more comprehensive way. And also, are there opportunities maybe that we're missing for senior citizens to participate in our organizations? So there might be more opportunities for them to volunteer in our schools, A lot of different things, but we need to bring the community together to have those conversations and to do the actual work of how do we move forward, and that includes municipalities. It includes, you know, good biking and walking paths and opportunities for recreation and enrichment, and so it's important that we all come together to have those conversations.
And seniors can be interfacing with the youth programs too. That intergenerational, I think, is very important.
It is important, and I think it's healthy for both. It's healthy for our kids to learn from people that have already gone through so many different experiences, but it's really healthy for our senior population as well. To stay involved in our schools, to stay involved with our youth, it's definitely positive for both. And I think if we can help offer any kind of intergenerational programming, we want to do that.
In addition to the various programs we've mentioned for youth and seniors and opportunities, there's probably hundreds of different courses throughout the year too, and these are listed online through brochures. And any quick comments you'd like to share about the variety of things that are available?
One thing I think we're pretty good at is offering different adult enrichment courses, and you're right, our catalog goes out 3 times a year. We offer fall, winter, and spring courses. We don't do anything in the summer because, you know, in White Bear we have plenty of opportunities for other sorts of recreation.
Oh, yes.
But there are lots of different classes, anywhere from music classes, art classes, even financial planning classes, and they're really reasonably priced. So it's something that a person can do after work or in an evening, not a large commitment, maybe just, you know, 6 weeks of their time at a very reasonable price, and learn something and maybe find that they have a talent that they hadn't really known before.
Great. On a personal note, where were you raised?
I was raised in Hartley, Iowa, which is the northwest corner of the state. I went to college my freshman year at Wartburg in Waverly, Iowa, and then transferred to Augustana and Sioux Falls.
And you majored, you mentioned, you know, that your career transformed into education after being in the credit card industry and as a professional. Tell us about that evolution very quickly.
Yeah, so I actually have a degree in business administration from Augustana in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And then I went back to the University of Minnesota and I did get a teaching license in adult basic education along with a master's in adult education. I've pretty much been in school since 2003 now.
A lifelong learner.
I really have demonstrated that. I have a community education director's license, a principal's license, a superintendent's license, and I'm now enrolled in the PhD program at the University of Minnesota in their educational leadership division. So hopefully in 4 years or less I can come out with that PhD. And
I'm sure you will. Any time for hobbies?
Well, not right now, actually. Actually, it's not true. I do participate in my church. I'm in the choir, and so I do a little bit of that, but that's about as much time as I have.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Kristine Wehrkamp, for your leadership in community education. We wish you continued success. We invite the viewers to contact you, go to the website if they'd like to get more information.
We'd appreciate that very much.
Good.
Thank you.
And viewers, if you have questions of me, I invite you to give me a call. My cell phone is 651-770-0283, or you could send an email as well. With Kristine Wehrkamp, I'm Chuck Wiger. Thank you very much for watching.